MCU Spider-Man will soon be swinging into theaters for his third and final question mark story in the MCU. But of course, we know this could have ended much earlier, because as we all know, after Spider-Man Far From Home, the very legal and public dispute between Disney, Marvel Studios, and Sony hit the internet. But now we learned some details in regards to who knew about this deal and what was happening behind the scenes. And as it turns out, pretty much nobody knew about this besides just the top brass. Man, talk about dodging a bullet with almost losing Spider-Man, am I right? I mean, that could have been a thing with Marvel. Sony would have had just Tom Holland, but nothing else. I mean, it could have been a whole mess. We know about this. Thanks to the History of Marvel Studios, or the Story of Marvel Studios book, there is a lot of info there on Spider-Man, and specifically one section goes into the details in regards to Spider-Man being ripped out of the MCU and how this came to be. And essentially, this was a thing that only a couple of people behind the scenes knew on both sides. Kevin Feige, Bob Iger, and Alan Horn over on the Disney side by the sound of it, and over on the Sony side, it was just the producers, meaning you had Avi Arad and you had Amy Pascal and Tom Rothman. Outside of that, the director John Watts, the actors, they did not know, and nobody let them in on it. They did not want them to have to worry about this when the press junkets and everything for the second film were going on, or when they were talking about the Avengers or the future, because they didn't want them to be unsure. So nobody was told anything while they were trying to, for months, hash out a new deal, which unfortunately did not happen. And even after the release of the film, the actors and director all thought that they were still going to be doing a third film. It wasn't until I believe it was Deadline that originally reported it, or it could have been Variety or Hollywood Reporter, whoever originally reported the dispute, that the actors and director and very much everybody at the same time found out about this, because that's when they all learned it was happening, when we all learned it was happening. And in the book, they detail about, the sort of process of trying to work out deals and everything and having the discussion that just didn't go anywhere, and how it was each side is kind of playing their own game. But ultimately, they do reveal that it was Bob Iger who decided to sit down, pick up the phone, arrange some meetings, and be like, what do we need to do? Where do we need to meet in the middle? And what do you guys want? What can we give you? And what do we want that you can give us so we can make this thing work out? And then it took a couple of months and they worked it out. But it's interesting to hear from them talking about this idea of nobody knew. Even the people in the films thought that the third film was happening right away and they were ready and freeing up time. And you just got, the big bosses on both sides going, they don't know there's no more Spider-Man. Hollywood, man, what a business.